Good morning. This is Sue at McGeeNews.com. And you know what? We are less than a month away to our primary election. With me today is Danny Kraft, who is running for re-election for his area, which is 2.
Yes,
You're in
ma'am.
2.
Yeah.
I want to know, and I've got questions I'm going to ask him, so you just got to bear with me as I remember. I wrote them all down. Why are you seeking re-election?
Well, one of my main reason is seeking re-election is I served 2 terms and I got some things that I want to accomplish when I got into this, and I don't feel I've got there yet, and I want to see some things follow through. I want to see, we're making improvements on the roads, and I just want to see continue with that, and economic development. I want to look at trying to bring industry, which is a very, very tough deal, and I can touch on that a little bit later, some of the obstacles we face on that, but I just basically, in a nutshell, I just don't feel my job's completed yet. I'm not satisfied until, I have certain goals coming in, and I want to try to accomplish all the goals if possible.
Good. Continuing on your goals. What do you feel are some of your biggest accomplishments during this time? Because we know everybody's going to tell us what we didn't do. What did you do?
They're good about that. Yes, ma'am. Some of the biggest accomplishments, which you don't do nothing individual. As you come into as a new board member, me coming in my first term, I'm gonna do this, gonna do that, and you find out you can't. You gotta work with the boards. You got laws and rules, and of course the budget thing. Takes money to do anything. Some of my first accomplishments that come in was I noticed. I said we have, the question was, what do we have as far as resurfacing roads? I said I know we patching. Well, they said, we really don't have nothing dedicated. We try to get a mile here, a mile there, when we can. Well, we got looking into that, and I said, well, I want to see something dedicated, a certain amount of budget just for road resurfacing. And it wasn't me, it all takes a board. And we come up with it in my first term that we was going to allocate 4% of the budget going strictly to road resurfacing, but nothing else. They can't never take away from us. Got to be earmarked for that. Well, then we got looking to the equipment. We really didn't have proper equipment to do. So out of that, we have purchased equipment, and we're accomplishing about what we call in-house. We've been doing about 50 miles a year, and it's not going to get it all quick. It's a slow process, but when you got 966 miles of road that we maintain in the county. But we do have a plan, and we do have something in place. Anyway, we purchased that, and I think we do a good job at this year doing to the economy. We've had to nearly cut it in half. It's just the price of material and fuel and everything's going up. The other thing is that in our road department in general, we had trucks that was just on their last leg. When you get a truck that stays in the shop 6 months and they can spend $59,000 on it that year, and the truck's 20 years old, that's just don't make sense. So we got talking, and we've got just this unique deal, and it's just hard to believe that we work with trucks works up there, and they give us a program to where we change them out every year.
Oh, that's great.
But we found out in this by talking to people and learning, you need to spec these trucks to where when you get rid of them, they'll sell.
Right.
So we did that and upgrading stuff like third axle capability and all that. And we take these to auction. We're actually purchasing trucks, taking them to auction, selling them above what we paid for.
Awesome.
We're running the trucks and making money.
That's a change.
And we recently tested it with our motor grader, our road graders. We did that, and they did the same thing, and they was 4 years old, and we made above what we paid for.
That's great.
Will this last? I don't know, but we're gonna take advantage of it as long as we can. And another thing, we did our energy efficient stuff throughout all the county buildings, and it's lighting, air conditioning. You have this company come in, and they tell you what you need to save on your utility bill. And this past year, we got our first return on it. It was somewhere around $89,000.
Awesome.
So that's money we can put back in the general fund, to help stuff, and all that. And it's little things that add up. We've as far as the sheriff department, we're building a new trustee hall, that's our inmates you see that go out and help pick the garbage up, and that is a valuable asset.
It is.
And I know it's not perfect, but if we have to pay for that out of pocket, back during COVID, they come down. We've seen what it costs us. Couldn't find nobody to do it. Is another reason. And at this, we add to it, and we have to do this to stay up to the
It's right like a code.
to the to the code, Department of Justice and all that stuff. You got to stay up to their codes, and plus we add to, and we can add to. These are a big benefit to us, and like I said, we've all worked together. It'd be great work the sheriff's department on that. Of course, we've added a dog catcher too, because there was a big need for that in the county. It wasn't so much for stray dogs. We don't go out and use it's for nuisance dogs. If you got a dog that's, you growling at your kids or keeps going in your garbage and tearing it up, and the person won't do nothing about it, we approach them. Our dog catcher approaches them, and he, gives them a warning. If they don't, then we eventually have to pick the dog up. You have so many days to pick the dog up. And
I think the dog catcher's a very valuable employee.
And it's, as you well know, it's not a cheap thing to do. It's expensive. It's expensive to do that, but it's, it's something that's a need. You try to do it. And you try to stay within the budget. And back during COVID, this is where it come up. There was no need for barriers at like a chancery or tax assessor where they handle a lot of money. And we put up these barriers, between the glasses. One thing was COVID. Another thing was for just protection. That's just today's world. Of course, we provide security around the courthouse too. We have an officer that stays there, and it's a lot of things. A lot of things could be done, and one of my biggest accomplishments that anybody may say it doesn't seem like it, but it's a big deal to me is that where I completed my Institute of Excellence for County Government.
I was interested in that because what does that actually mean?
Well, I don't know how y'all do it. I know with
the city.
But when you go to your conferences, and you can say what a conference is or not, but you have classes. You're not obligated to attend them, but you're not required. But the MASS came up with a deal in 2019 where they started tracking and giving you credits for it. And so since that's been accomplished, I was the first to graduate that. Yeah, you don't have to go to classes, but I want to go to it because I want to learn, because the more you learn about county government, how things work, plus you meet people all over the state that hey, how you doing this? How, what are y'all doing in this problem? Most counties get the same.
I do think people think when you go to a conference, it's a party. But I'm going to tell you, there is so much you can learn.
You can make it what you want.
That's right. Changing the subject, there's something I want to ask you about. What about economic development? This is heavy on a lot of people.
It is. And we struggle with economic development, and it's not because we're not trying. That was one of my main things come in, because I said, I want to see jobs in the county. One of the reasons I decided to run, both my children moved out of the county.
Yeah.
Just was nothing available, and I said, I don't, and I begged them to stay, anything. But the biggest struggle that I see we have in Simpson County is as far as a site. We need a site-ready place. I've talked to the Golden Triangle people and all over the state, and you know how the Golden Triangle goes.
Yes.
You got to have what's called a site ready. You got to have all your environmental studies done, all your research done, and and you don't have to own it, but if you could just get an option on it,
Well, are you saying then not like building a building, it's just finding out what it will handle, what the property will handle.
And most people want, if it's going to be an industry, they're probably looking for rail. They're looking for, 49 or 4-lane access. They're going to look for utilities. We have an ideal place that, since I've been in, I know 4 different times people went for it, but the landowner is not, he doesn't live in Simpson County. He's just invested in timber now. He will not budge on it. And he has refused to work with the county on it. He said, no, I'll work directly with them. So we can't get involved and but it's the ideal place. It's got rail on the backside. Front row, it's got natural gas, it's got power. But anyway, it's, we struggle with it. And the ones that we have found is being in wetlands.
Oh, yeah.
That knocks it out. That's one thing we need to work with economic development and all that, to try to improve and find a site.
Okay, you mentioned earlier the budget. Tell me a little bit about how the budget works with the supervisors.
Well, you're dealing with the budget. The Board of Supervisors handles, deal with the whole countywide, but you know, you got entities that send or their budget to you, and you know, we look over them, and then you know, and all that. We handle most of it. The only problem is a lot of this stuff is that it's money. You know, we got to find it. We got to continue to grow. But anyway, most departments have been real good about staying within their budget. Very few has come to us and asked for any increases or anything in the budget. Now, that's not the case in all of them. You know, some has asked, and I don't feel like all of those have been open with us and cooperative with us and to, okay, well, why you need this? But at the same time, you know, you just have to deal with it from case to case. But you know, a lot of people, everybody sees a road supervisor, and they call you a road supervisor.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's not all about the roads. You know, 13.78% goes to road and bridges.
Not a
Well,
lot.
it's repairing. You're talking about our chip seal projects cost right around 30, maybe 35,000, depending on the road per mile. Now you talk, everybody said, why y'all doing that chip seal stuff? Why don't you put asphalt? Well, the reason is asphalt's gonna cost you about 200 plus thousand per mile because of the price.
How does the other hold up?
It's not perfect. Asphalt is better, I have no doubt about it, but it does consider our roads and the old country roads way back, it was just dirt roads and bladed off, and a lot of my field was never properly prepared.
Probably so. The
base,
bed,
you know,
yeah.
because you don't have no crowning and all that, and it's you know, it does okay for country roads. You know, it's not gonna be perfect. Some people complain, well, it's gonna be a little rough, but at least it's not getting big,
Right.
gigantic holes and everything. And you know, another thing is people get upset when you do roads and you don't do their road, but it's just a hard decision. We're not gonna be able to get them all done, and we're not gonna get them. When my term is over, there still be had to do them. You know, you talk about Simpson County, I don't know why, but has so many road miles, 966 compared to somebody like Smith is somewhere around, they less than 500 miles.
Really?
Total miles, you know, and it's, you know, and I have 162 roads in my district that I maintain, 206 miles, you know.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but, well, I have been able, that's another thing accomplished, since we put this program in, I've been able to resurface basically 45% of the roads in my district, some 85 miles or so. And yeah, you know, we're gonna get them done. It's just gonna take time. When you took over and it was, you had, I'm gonna say 80% of your roads bad. You just can't. It takes time. But we do have a plan in place and a project to get this done. It's just like it takes time, and the economy has really hit us hard of late with fuel. Prices change, but we're gonna work through it and do the best we can.
What else is one of your largest things with your budget?
Well, yeah, that's real. Let me break down the budget. Let me just do a quick fix. And the road and bridge is 13.78. Debt services, that's just like you debt services, loans or whatever. Then you got your general fund here is 31.27%. You know, your sheriff department comes out of that, and all your buildings and all that comes out of general fund. And that's another thing. It's costly to man inmates, to keep them. Everything's going up on it. The cost of them, you know, when they're in there, you got to provide their medical services, or food prices went up, and you know, we're trying to keep all this and keep within the budget. And you know, sometimes we have to make sacrifices. Another thing, getting into that, we're gonna have to. Let's see. Then you got schools, 43.7%. Added on top of that, 5.45% goes to Colin, which I think Colin's a great access, but you know, and so there's half your budget.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
That's tough, and that's something we need to address. You know, and I know everybody talks about schools. Our schools, you know, we need to improve on it, but we got to do it all as a whole. As a county, we got to work together to see if we can figure out what's best, because that hurts your economy and everything. We got to get a better school rating, but we're willing to work with both sides or anybody to do it. You got fire departments, you know, 2.27% goes to them. Then you got this miscellaneous 2%. You know, so you know that kind of eats your budget up in a hurry.
It does.
As anybody knows, you go to the grocery store,
That's
everybody's
right.
budget been hit. You pull up to the gas pump, it's been hit, but you know, and I didn't get back on the roads and bridges, you know, to redo a bridge now is $1 million plus. A small bridge, I'm doing a bridge now, and it's over $1 million, and it's just, you know, skip hop.
It's just unbelievable.
But, you know, and they come down on us. That's one thing, when they come down on us years ago, the federal government's just got ridiculous. I think it's overkill. You know, we're not going to, you know, they come and closed all these bridges that time. We got them all open, but we was inspecting them. We are not going to let nobody run on a bridge we feel unsafe. Right. But they just kind of went overboard on it. Yeah. And they took all of, that's nothing. We lost all our federal money years ago when they did this, because they said, and we used to have federal money to fix bridges, fix roads. They took it all and they give it all to bridge inspectors to do it every year. Every year at ridiculous prices. It's just, that's what you can, you know, what do you do? That's they tell you this is what, you know, we're taking your money, so we're going to use it for this. They feel it's better served. It's kind of, sometimes they think they need to get down to earth. Some of these people in Washington, they feel like, well, you ain't just a bunch of dumb old boys down here don't know, but you need to be kind of low saying boots on the ground, see what you got, then you'll know.
That's right. Choosing a supervisor is a very important task.
Yes.
And again, our election is August the 8th. If you cannot vote or come that day, you can always vote absentee. And Danny Kraft is running for supervisor in number 2.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody if they can just stay on board with me, you know, and I think we've made accomplishments and we've made great strides. No, we hadn't got everything that needs to be done, but there's always work to be done, no matter who's in, who's here, whatever. There's always work to be done, but I kind of used as my slogan. I said, let's keep moving forward. As long as we're moving forward, we'll get there.
That's good. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.